What is up, bros? Me, Josh, here bringing you another episode of Know Your Ship. In this series, I go over what I think is the best upgrades and the best captain skills for each line and kind of go in depth on why I think about that and why you guys should use them. Keep in mind, we are going to be focusing on the captains going all the way up through the line to tier 10, as well as about a 15-point captain. I know the captains come up to 19, but it takes a long time to get there. I will focus on just a 15-point captain, but I will go over some lower tier builds and a higher level captain as well at the end of the videos. So in this episode, we're going over the Japanese cruisers, and you play the Japanese cruisers to get this ship, the Zao. The Zao is amazing. It's a godly tier 10 cruiser, in my opinion, one of the strongest ships, if not the most OP ship in the game, outside of premiums, of course. The Zao is insane. I believe it can self-fire at 15.6 kilometers, with loading 5, 6, 7K salvos, as long as with multiple fires. That's just HE. The AP can absolutely annihilate people. This ship's amazing. Great rate of fire, 22% fire chance, which is amazing. Decent survivability. If you front on, you'll be able to do okay. I mean, it's nothing like the Moscow or the Des Moines, but it does very, very well. Let's jump into the tree. Now, there are some other recognizable and very, very strong ships. Even the low tier, you start at the Hashidati, but those aren't anything crazy. The Kuma, an amazing tier 4, 10 one of my favorite ships a long time ago, in closed beta at least. Furitaka, which recently just got a buff. It's a very good ship. The Alba, which can hold itself. This is probably as consistent of a line as you can get. The line really strives and really excels with its HE damage, its stealth, its torpedoes. From tier 5 to tier 9, you're rolling 10-kilometer torps at fantastic stealth ranges. So pretty brutal. This line is very, very strong. It's a relatively easy line to go up. There's nothing that's really that bad. I mean, in my opinion, the worst part of the line is tier 1 and tier 2, and you get through those very, very quickly. I know some people tend to not have too much fun in the Ibuki. The Ibuki, in my opinion, now you'll have a 15-point captain, so the Ibuki is actually a relatively strong ship. I think the Ibuki gets a lot of grief where it doesn't really deserve it. I had a pretty good time running the Ibuki, and I think it's a fantastic ship. But the pinnacle, of course, is the Zao. Other great ships are like the Mogami, the Miyoko, probably the best tier 7 cruiser in the game. The Alba, like I said, can hold its own. The Furitaka, I mean, a lot of really, really good ships in this line. Now, upgrades. Upgrades on this line, I would run these. Main armament 1. Not only does it help your torpedo tubes and your main armament, so it kind of doubles down on that. So, although on the Zao has 8-kilometer torps, you tend not to use the torps all that often in high tiers, but as you're going up the line, this could definitely help, especially with the 10-kilometer torps going through. I think that's awesome. I wouldn't take anything else. Aiming system 1, although the dispersion isn't terrible, the dispersion is amazing on these ships. This does help too. Torpedo tubes helps with that, secondary firing. Now, you could maybe go main traverse. I don't really like it. AA, the AA on these ships aren't crazy good. You're rocking about a 67% rating. Maybe you can bump up to 80. I don't think it's quite worth it. I would just go with aiming system 1. I could maybe hear an argument for the AA mod, but these things aren't known for their AA, and you tend to kind of sit back and snipe and just wreck people with your HE. Gunfire control system 1, I think this is a must. Anything that gives you range on a cruiser. Battleships are really your enemy. You want to stay as far away as possible. I think Gunfire control system mod 2 is the way to go. Give yourself some range. Stay away from the bad guys. Propulsion is what I would run with. Now I could hear something. I have used damage control system. A lot of people use HE in the higher tiers, especially those pesky destroyers. It could potentially help with not being lit on fire the most. I think propulsion. If you take one citadel, you could potentially lose your propulsion and kind of be stuck in one spot. If you're stuck for too long in high tiers, although your detection is very good, it could be deadly. So propulsion, I would probably take. Damage control system if you're seeing yourself maybe getting lit on fire, but I would probably stick with propulsion. Steering gears. Now, the higher and the steering, the rudder shift tends not to be too good for these kinds of cruisers, so I like avoiding as many torps as possible. If you take 1 or 2 torps on a cruiser at this tier, it's pretty deadly and can put you kind of out of the fight. So as many as you can avoid, the better. Steering gears, mod 2 is very, very good. I think propulsion, you're mainly going to be moving the majority of the time, so it's not the best, but I think steering is the way to go. And concealment, the Japanese line is very, very good. The concealment on this, let's just check it out. 9.7 kilometer detection. 9.7. That's crazy. So within shooting, you can go You can go dark at 9.7. That's so good. You can get out of the fight, reset, get some distance, and start lighting people up again. Especially if you can stay in that stealth firing range. That's about 15.6 kilometers. That's the kind of the golden area where you want to stay. So concealment, 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 rocket as well as rocket with the camouflage. It gives you a little bit extra. I don't know why I'm using the pleb camo. But type 3, I would run that. Well, not type 3, type 4, type 5. There you go. Whatever type it is. Type 5. So I would run that, dispersion, as well as detection. Now for the captain skills. And I'm actually going to use the ship comrade calculator that they have just put up. Now, I'm still on 5.8. So 5.8 still has situation awareness. Now this is going to be taken out. So let's jump over to Ship Comrade because he has the 5.9, which is going to be coming up actually tomorrow because today is the day before 5.9 is released. So we're going to go off that calculator. So let's hop over to that. So here is the Ship Comrade point calculator. They just put this in, and it is updated to the 5.9, updated for the upcoming 5.9 patch. So that's pretty awesome. As you can see, situation awareness is taken out. Now, I will put a link in the description for both the calculator as well as the build I will be using. And we're going to go with a 15-point captain. I will show you a little bit extra for when we do get a higher level captain. But I'm going to stick with 15 mainly for this series. So this is kind of the toughie, situation awareness. Now for Japanese cruisers, there tends not to be a super strong secondary one. I could literally see any of these being okay. There's nothing that I think is awesome, but there's nothing that really jumps out as being the one you really need to take. Now, ship survivability, you tend not to sit on too many fires, flooding as a cruiser. If you do, you're pretty much dead. Secondary armament, not the best for Japanese. And expert loader, potentially. Expert loader, maybe this could be bouncing back and forth. This might actually not be that bad with situation awareness taken. I would probably take basic firing training. It does help with AA. Secondaries, it could help with secondaries. Who knows if there's a danger close destroyer. I would take either basic firing training. I wouldn't be opposed to expert loader. I don't know. It's been so useless for so long, but maybe it's the way to go now. I'm not exactly sure. But I would probably take basic firing training. Expert marksmanship, I think, is the best out of all this. Last stand, you're not really going to need. From here, I would go Superintendent. Now, this is one that I would kind of switch back and forth potentially if you are using premium consumables. You do get the extra one. This is the one that's going to give you an additional charge for AA and heal. I think that's really, really important at high tiers is getting the extra heal. With running the premium consumable, you do get an extra one there as well. So maybe people are saying I don't use them. If you find yourself not using it, Vigilance would be the way I go from there. But I would go with Superintendent from there. Number 4, pretty simple. Demo expert. You want to light as many fires as possible. This adds a chance to do that. Pick that. Easy. And this one's also very easy, concealment expert. So this is the build that will give you that stealth firing range of 15.6, and this is what I would run with. Now, if you have a captain that you have been playing a ton with, you played on the Atago, you played on the Yubari, you're getting a lot of experience on, so let's bump it up to 18. I would take Vigilance. So whatever one you don't take, I would save 3 points on the captain, and I would grab the other one. Now, Vigilance lets you avoid torpedoes. So this is the build I would run. Like I said, 15 points would be right here. 18 points would be right there. That's what I would run. Like I said, I will put this build in the description below. Now, for lower tier ships, I would run a little bit of a different build for captain skills. Keep the same upgrades on your ships, but basically what I would do is if you, let's say you're running a tier 4, tier 5, where you don't even get anything to use. Like remember, guys, only tier 9s and tier 10s have the heal, and tier 6s and up have the AA ability besides the Yubari, of course. So if you're running, let's say, a Furitaka only captain, a Kuma only captain, a Tenryu only captain, even an Alba only captain, basically all the way up to basically 8 and under. If it's that ship only captain and you only have 15 points, Superintendent isn't that good. You're only going to get an extra charge from AA. I don't think that's worth it. So if you are using purely a captain for a Miyoko or purely a captain for a Alba or whatever, I would run Vigilance over Superintendent. You're just not going to get the value out of it. Avoid as many torps as you can. Vigilance would be the way to go, especially for cruisers. And that is it for this week's episode of Know Your Ship. This week we went over the Japanese cruisers. I think a really, really solid line. One of the best lines in World of Warships. Let me know in the comments below which line you guys would want me to go over next. It could be really any line. I'll kind of go over the same thing, upgrades and captain skills, and which I think you guys should run on it. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Have fun out there, guys. Best of luck on the seas.